Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to be diving right into something absolutely incredible. We are demystifying the hidden, highly engineered infrastructure that safely delivers electricity from a distant power plant right into your living room. It's a modern marvel, right? Something most of us completely take for granted. But I promise you, by the end of our time together today, you're going to see the world around you a whole lot differently. Let's get into it. Think about it for a second. You walk into a dark room, you flip a simple switch on the wall, and bam! Instantly, there is light. But what exactly happens the moment you do that? Well, because electricity can't easily be stored on a massive scale, the power lighting your bulb right now had to be generated fractions of a second ago, literally hundreds of miles away. It's this high-speed logistical network that relies on a meticulously designed system working 24/7 to deliver power perfectly on demand. So, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the birth of electricity, merge onto the high-voltage highway, and look at stepping down the power. Then, we'll unpack the grid's essential toolkit, explore designing reliable networks, and finally, look at the objectives of a perfect grid. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the birth of electricity and power generation. To get to you, electric power has to pass through 5 crucial stages. It starts with generation, moves to the transmission system, drops into sub-transmission, enters primary distribution, and finally finishes up in secondary distribution. It's essentially a highly orchestrated, high-speed baton pass. So, electricity is born at massive power plants, and these can be thermal, hydro, nuclear, solar, or wind facilities. But regardless of how the actual turbine is spun, these generators typically produce electricity at a base level of somewhere between 11 and 25 kilovolts. Now, a kilovolt is 1,000 volts, so we're talking 11,000 to 25,000 volts right out of the gate. Moving on to Section 2, let's talk about the transmission system, or as I like to call it, the high-voltage highway. Before this freshly generated electricity can travel across the state, it needs an on-ramp. Enter the step-up transformer. This is a vital piece of equipment used to drastically increase the voltage of the electricity. Now you might be wondering, why on earth do we need to increase the voltage when 25,000 volts already sounds incredibly high? Well, jacking up the voltage actually reduces the electrical current. Think of it like water in a pipe, right? Higher pressure lets you move the exact same amount of water with a slower, gentler flow, which minimizes friction. In electrical terms, doing this minimizes the amount of energy that gets lost as heat while the power travels over those massive distances. Depending on the system, this electricity is pushed onto the transmission network at 132 kilovolts, 400 kilovolts, or sometimes all the way up to a staggering 765,000 volts. This is the high-speed interstate highway for our traveling power, allowing it to cross hundreds of miles with very minimal transmission losses. That brings us to Section 3, stepping down the power in the sub-transmission phase. As the electricity exits that highway, it goes into the sub-transmission system. Here, at regional grid substations, the voltage is reduced to common levels, like 33 or 66 kilovolts, so it can be distributed to different industrial areas. Then, it hits primary distribution. The voltage is stepped down again, usually to around 11 kilovolts. This is where dedicated lines called feeders carry the power from the substations out to the distribution transformers in your specific neighborhood. And these feeders are specifically designed for high reliability, making sure there's minimal drop in voltage along the way. And that brings us to the climax of our power's journey, secondary distribution. You know that metal transformer box you see on a power pole or sitting on a green pad in your neighborhood? Well, that box takes those 11,000 volts and performs the final crucial conversion. It steps the power down to a perfectly safe 230 volts for single-phase residential homes, which is what actually powers your everyday outlets, and 400 volts for commercial buildings that need heavy-duty 3-phase power to run large equipment. All right, Section 4. Let's open up the grid's essential toolkit and look at the main components. A massive distribution network like this relies on a very specific toolkit. You've got your transformers stepping the voltage up and down, and transmission lines carrying the heavy load. When they meet at a substation, a bus bar acts as the ultimate multi-plug adapter, connecting multiple lines together. But the real heroes here are the safety features. The relay acts as the brain of the operation, constantly monitoring for trouble. If it senses a fault, it basically yells at the circuit breaker to physically trip, stopping dangerous currents before they cause massive damage or fires. Finally, the service mains are the absolute last cables plugging directly into your home's meter. Moving on to Section 5, designing reliable power networks and the different distribution types. Engineers essentially have a few different architectural strategies to connect all these components. The most basic layout is the radial system. Think of it kind of like a tree branch. It's simple, it's economical, but there's a major catch. If a tree falls on that single path, every single customer downstream goes dark. To fix that issue, cities upgrade to a ring main system. Here, consumers are fed from two different directions in a giant loop. So if one side of the loop gets caught or goes down, power just flows in from the other direction. It vastly improves reliability and is super common in dense urban areas. But for those massive, sprawling power grids, we need the absolute ultimate architectural solution, and that is the interconnected system. This is where multiple substations, generating stations, and feeders are entirely linked together in this giant complex web. It provides the highest possible reliability and operational flexibility. If a massive power plant suddenly goes offline, the interconnected grid can instantly pull power from a completely different region's substation to compensate. It keeps your lights on without you ever even noticing a hiccup. Finally, let's wrap up with Section 6, the objectives of a perfect grid and how engineers balance our needs. When engineers design these networks, they are performing a massive, constant balancing act. They need absolute reliability to provide continuous power, while strictly regulating the voltage so your home actually gets exactly 230 volts and your appliances don't fry. They're constantly chasing efficiency to reduce heat loss and safety to protect both the line workers and the equipment itself. And all of this has to be built with the flexibility to handle future city expansion, while somehow maintaining economy so our utility bills don't completely skyrocket. It is no easy task. To bring it all together, the ultimate goal of a power distribution system is to provide a safe, reliable, efficient, and economical supply of electrical energy. It's the vital, carefully engineered link between those sprawling high-voltage transmission networks and you, the everyday consumer. From the step-up transformer at the power plant all the way to the distribution transformer on your street, every single piece is essential. So the next time you effortlessly flip a switch, take a second to marvel at the high-speed logistical journey happening right behind your walls. But it also leaves us with a pretty provocative question. As our global energy needs explode and millions of electric vehicles hit the road, how will this perfectly balanced grid need to evolve to keep the lights on? It's a fascinating engineering challenge for the future. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. I really hope you found it as electrifying as I did.
Electricity travels from power plants through high-voltage transmission lines, enters substations for voltage reduction, and is distributed safely to industries, businesses, and homes.